Welcome back to Hurstville Oval for the second match this afternoon, featuring Newcastle and the home side, St George. We're into the second over here with Newcastle, 1 for 7. Darwin on strike.
Former Test bowler Trent Copeland, bowling for St George at the moment. Played 3 Test matches on a tour of Sri Lanka a couple of years ago. If top of my head, I think that's correct. But he certainly played a lot of New South Wales Sheffield Shield cricket. So great opportunity for these Newcastle boys to be facing the likes of a former Test bowler.
Captain as well, you've just informed me. Swing and a miss. Newcastle have been able to back up within the space of around 25 minutes from their first victory of the afternoon. Of course, if you just tuned to the coverage, they were able to defeat Gordon in the first match of the day, featuring Newcastle. It'll be interesting to see how they come out and attack St George here. As Darwin, 4 runs. Well, first 4 for him and his side. So Newcastle out to 1 for 11 here at Hurstville Oval. As we mentioned for our coverage this afternoon, we'll go through our sponsors list throughout the afternoon, but the weather, always a big factor in cricket. It's cooled down a lot. We started 3-4 hours ago hovering around 30-31 degrees, but right now it fell 3 or 4 degrees, Josh, probably 26. We pull it up, 26, 27.
It's pretty cool here in the pavilion, but yeah, out in the middle I'm sure it's a little bit warmer, but yeah, the breeze has certainly picked up in the last 20 minutes since we were in between games, and yeah, quite strong out of the northeast. So Trent Copeland was just bowling into the breeze there, and yeah, just, typical good line and length. From the other end we have Edwards, left arm orthodox spinner.
Yeah, Mitch Edwards. And there to Dries, who's on 2 at the moment for Newcastle. The 6 on his back. The man on your screen now, Mitch Edwards.
Well bowled Edwards, he got a bit of drift and loop there. Tempted Dries into a bit of a slog pull shot. He's unable to connect. It's going to be interesting to see what advantage St George get by having the break. Because of course they played in the earlier game against Gordon, where Newcastle have had to go back to back after beating Gordon by 4 wickets. Only about a 15-20 minute break, so I know it's T20 cricket, but it's pretty physically demanding, a lot of especially on the fielders.
Takes the ball on. They scurry through for a single, and they're home, Newcastle. So 1 for 11. Dries now off strike. It's Darwin on 5 from 7. Edwards, as Josh mentioned, coming in from the northern end. Down the ground, single.
I was talking to Newcastle people before this game. They were expecting the Gordon game to be highly winnable, and it proved that way. But they thought this game would be far more challenging. That St George are one of the strongest sides in Sydney grade cricket. Won a premiership a couple of years ago as well. So a lot of quality, of course. Trent Copeland, their captain, a former Test player, and played a lot of first-class cricket.
Straight to the fielder there. So that's the end of the over. Newcastle 1 for 13. And a big shout out to our fans across the world this afternoon, not just locally, situated in all 4 parts of the globe. Rory's listening in from Massachusetts over there, and Roger and Jenny from England, and of course Jackie listening in from Port Lincoln. So thanks for tuning in and listening and watching the coverage here on Bar TV. Of course, Jackie listening in from, as I mentioned, Port Lincoln. That's Mitch Edwards' auntie, Josh. So we've got, it's a family fair, 2020, bringing everybody together. And Port Lincoln, nice part of the world, hot, humid, just like we're facing here in Hurstville this afternoon. Here comes Copeland. It's in the air over the top, into the gap. The ball rolling down towards the 4 boundary mark, and it goes over. So 4 runs to Newcastle, and Dries, well, he just thought, let's go over the top, and the ball did the rest. So 4-pointer to Dries, that takes him now up to 7, and 1 for 18 for Newcastle.
Yeah, good shot, Dries, because Trent Copeland, he's known for his very economic bowling. He's very tight and good line of length, so anything wide you've got to go after. Yeah, bad misfield there. It's going to cost them potentially 2 extra runs, but no, Newcastle's overrun, so it's going to save them, costing them 3 runs. Instead, they'll take 2. So Newcastle move on to 1 for 18.
Not bad.
1 for 20, sorry.
1 for 20. Scoreboard just ticking up those extra 2 here. Copeland into his 2nd over, coming in from the southern end.
Yeah, Trent Copeland, of course, he played 3 test matches for Australia, all against Sri Lanka on the tour of Sri Lanka in 2011. He's also played 57 first-class matches, so very experienced.
And they'll be looking for his experience to guide them through in this match. Newcastle challenging him, putting it over the top. They're coming back for the 2nd. Won't quite go down to the boundary. So 2 runs there to Dries. That takes him now to 9. And Copeland, well, they're not afraid, are they, Newcastle, to take him on, as you'd expect in the 2020. The ball short of the length. They're going to bash it over the top. Here he comes again. Dries on strike, calling for LB. He's given him! 2nd wicket for Newcastle. LBW off the bowling there of Copeland.
Just as I was saying before, he's got very good line and length. Copeland, was never the fastest bowler to play for Australia, but certainly very accurate in the Glenn McGrath mould. We'll have a look here on the replay.
Stay down low.
Yeah, caught him on the crease. Yeah, good decision.
And a quick decision too by our umpires.
But yeah, as you said, mate, it's keeping a bit low. So I mean, this is the 3rd game of cricket on this ground today. So maybe the pitch is starting to get a little bit of wear. I know T20 cricket doesn't create that much wear on a pitch, but still, it's maybe keeping a little bit low, and something that maybe St George will have to think about when they bat last.
Indeed. So this is the 3rd match of the day, isn't it? 3rd match. So, you know, we're approaching the 80 overs pretty much since the start of the day. So it's had a bit of wear and tear since the beginning. And now coming out for Newcastle is Webber. Sam Webber from Hamilton Wickham. Up at the non-striking end is Darwin on strike. 2 for 22. Quick single. And they're home.
Of course, Sam Webber was pretty destructive in the last game. I think 46 he scored. and probably turn the game in Newcastle's favour with a couple of big sixes. So yeah, he's seeing them good. It's a good seeing day, nice and bright. So see if he takes on the young left arm spinner Edwards.
Edwards into his third over.
Just moving the deep square leg around a little bit more square to the wicket. And dropping back fine leg a little bit deeper, still halfway to the boundary.
Well fielded. Scurry through for a single. So Webber off the mark. He goes to one. Darwin back on strike. Oh, got him. Little inside edge off the bat. Might have even flicked the pad and onto the stumps. Another one gone for Newcastle. 3 for 24.
Not a good shot there by Pat Darwin. He seemed to have lifted his head at the last minute and probably thinking about where he's going to hit it. We'll have a look again on the replay. Here's Edwards into Pat Darwin. Yeah, rash shot. And yeah, bowled him the quicker one, Mitch Edwards. Good bit of bowling. And that's yeah, costly wicket for Newcastle because Pat Darwin is one of their best batsmen. They're now 3 for 24 after 4.3 overs.
3 wickets have fallen pretty quickly here for Newcastle. As Josh mentioned, one of the glamour clubs of Sydney, local cricket, St George. So Newcastle, Littlewood now coming out onto the crease. He'll be fronting Edwards. The fans, not many, but enjoying their local team on their local ground.
Littlewood hit the winning runs in the last game when he smashed a 4 through the covers with 3 balls to spare. He'll probably need to play a little bigger innings today. I'm sorry, in this match, because a lot of the good work was done before he came to the crease in the last game, but plenty of work ahead for Newcastle. He's bowling well, Mitch Edwards. Nothing loose, very tight. Sort of darting in at the stumps. Makes it very hard to get away.
Littlewood looking for the gap to get off the mark. There's the gap. He's off the mark. Goes through for one. And cricket, well, we need support, don't we? And the CBA is a major sponsor for Newcastle cricket, and we'd like to thank them as well. Of course, Kookaburra, where would we be without their sponsorship? Of course, the CBA is the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Which bank? The Commonwealth Bank. There's the plug for the afternoon for the good old Commonwealth Bank. A lot of their retails, you know, throughout the last few years have been through a few renovations, and always a pleasure now to go inside the Commonwealth Bank, sit down, grab a water and wait for the teller for 40 minutes. Here's now. Depends which bank you go to. Don't go to Hamilton. Oh, big shot through the gaps, through the covers. Will that go down to the boundary for 4? He opened his bat up, he opened his shoulders up, Littlewood, and 4 runs.
Yeah, beautiful shot, beautiful cricket shot. I mean, that's a great shot in a test match, one dayer or a T20 game. Just a classic cover drive right along the carpet. He's over pitched a little bit there, Hicks, his first ball of his new spell, and Littlewood's cashed in. Newcastle 3 for 29.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Commonwealth Bank, massive sponsors to cricket and its sport in general. Who can forget over the years, you know, the Commonwealth Bank Cup, without their support, cricket would be doing it tough, and it's great for them to get behind the local Newcastle side as well, being major sponsor. Of course, the list is endless. Kingsgrove Sport, another sponsor, Forsyths, Modcoms, and of course, Kookaburra. We thank all of those sponsors for their contribution to the game of cricket. Hicks now coming in from the southern end, coming over the top of the bail through to the wicketkeeper.
Missed opportunity there for Littlewood. The ball was there to probably go to the boundary at square leg, but he missed it with a pull shot. Looked like he was a little bit late on that shot. Maybe the pitch is starting to become a little bit too paced. I'm not sure, but here's Hicks again.
Into the gap. Chases on to prevent it from going all the way. They cut it off and they come back for 2. Newcastle extends their margin out to 31 for the loss of 3. Bar TV, live and exclusive coverage of the T20 Cup from Hurstville Oval. Good ball there from Hicks. That is the end of the over. Newcastle 3 for 31. Hashtag Bar TV Sports. Get in contact with us. We'll do our best to get your messages on air. So work the thumbs to Twitter or the keyboard and hashtag Bar TV Sports. And Josh Leeson and myself will endeavour to answer the questions that you put to us. I was thinking it's probably going to be you. We might have to toss for that, Josh. Right.
I'm pretty poor at getting back to people who tweet me on Twitter, so sorry out there if you've tweeted me in the past and I've never replied. I'm just slack.
If you ever want to scoop, go on to Josh's Twitter about 10 past 10 and you'll get the latest that's coming up in the Herald the next day. About 10 o'clock, you put your scoops out, Josh, your exclusive little scoops.
Well, you've got to put them on late. You don't want NBN to hear about them first.
Mitch, if you're hearing, that's why he does it. Mitch Hughes, of course, at NBN. He'll be out to get his own scoops. Hard being a TV journo. Got to go sourcing your own scoops. Can't just read the newspaper, as some do. Some might say they all do. Here's the big hit. Oh, he tried to whack it in the middle of the bat. Just couldn't quite come off second best. So Newcastle still 3 down for 31. Be able to read about this tomorrow morning online. Maybe later tonight online. But first thing, definitely for tomorrow morning for sure. At theherald.com.au. They'll take 1 run there, Newcastle.
Or you could just buy a newspaper and save a journalist.
The old-fashioned way. Yeah. The Herald, no doubt. You know, it's a bit of multimedia going on now. Embracing the new technology, of course. Newspapers. The old traditional ways gone out the window. Embracing the citizen journalist now, and taking your own pictures and getting the stories up there and out there as quickly as possible. As Newcastle searching for the gap, just couldn't quite find it down there. So still 32 for the loss of 3.
Yeah, Andrew Walsh, he's bowled a nice line since he's come on this over. very tight. I mean, I've been quite impressed with the St George bowling all round so far. Really haven't given away any looseness for Newcastle. All the runs they've got, they've really had to work hard for them. So I think it's going to be a struggle for Newcastle. They're really going to have to lift this run rate soon.
Littlewood just going down.
Yeah, he's got a different action. This Walsh seems to skid through a lot.
So Webber retaining the strike. 2 so far for Webber. So we mentioned Sam Webber from the local Hamilton Wicken club in Newcastle, as Walsh now in the first over for St George. Just going back to his mark, and he'll have another run in. Here he comes now from the northern end. Good shot. That's 4. 1 bouncing into the fence.
Yeah, Sam Webber, he got a little bit of room to move there, and he slashed it away over the top of sort of a backish point, and it rocketed to the fence. There was no stopping that one. Sam Webber, as we saw in the last game, he's very dangerous when he gets his eye in, and if Newcastle are to post a good total, I think he's really got to cash in here and get a handy 30 or 40 runs.
Webber goes to 6. He may well now go to 10. Ball goes all the way into the fence for 4. So Webber unleashing here on St George.
The last first 4 he hit just then was probably a little bit of edge in it, but that one, it was straight out of the middle. Nice clean hitting over mid-off. Played right through the ball. And he's just such a sweet time in the ball, Sam Webber. He's not a very big guy, doesn't seem very strong. Well, I mean, he probably is strong, but certainly not a bulking type of a person, but just very quick through the wrists, and he just smashed that ball over mid-off. Beautiful shot. And that takes Newcastle to 3 for 41 after 7 overs.
Oh, have a look at that. Another 4. Straight down the ground and into the side screens. So Newcastle having a go here at Hurstville. They move on to 45. Nice clean hit of the ball there from Littlewood. He goes on to 12.
Yeah, the pressure was starting to mount there on Newcastle, but these 3 quick boundaries have sort of put them back into the game. Here's Hicks again.
Straight to Burke. Damien Burke in 11 from St George. So Webber now on strike.
We haven't seen much any sideways movement at all really today. I haven't seen any real genuine swing. The bowling's been pretty up and down from both sides, having to rely mostly on changes of pace and line and length for wickets. I would have thought with the nice sort of breeze we've had here all day, might have seen a few curve in the air, but yeah, been quite up and down.
A few more deliveries left in this over for Hicks. Straight back down the ground. They'll come through for 1. Fielded there by Simon Shue for St George. So Newcastle, 8th over, 3 for 47. Littlewood looking left to right, seeing where he can find the holes. Hicks continues. Straight to the fielder there. No run. Partnership of 23 between Webber and Littlewood. Hicks again.
And he chased that one a little bit wide and missed out. That ball was there to go to the boundary, but maybe beaten for the pace a little bit.
So Newcastle edging up to 50.
And well bowled by Hicks.
Yeah. Good line, good length. End of the over. Newcastle 3 for 47. Glorious outfield, as we alluded to at the top of the coverage. Nice and lush, nice and green. Here at the Hurstville Oval, just a few Ks outside of Hurstville. Some surrounding outskirts of what is becoming quite a... There's a nick, it's in the air, going down now, cut off. I'll just get the one run though.
Probably should have got two there, Sam. He didn't probably run that first run hard enough. But yeah, of course he was trying to go over the top there again, but got a bit of a top edge. It's flown down a sort of fly slip region. That's the way he plays.
I just love their cricket out here. They love their sport out in this part of the world. Taking to the bowler there, they'll get one. Because when you think of Hurstville, you're not far away from Cronulla. Just down there, there's the Shire, 20-minute drive down there into the region. Beautiful beaches, not too far into Sydney either. Just up the freeway, 20 minutes into Sydney City. And the airport just over the back as well. Oh, have a look at this. Will it clear the fielder there? You bet it does. It clears the fence and it goes all the way into Mrs. Smith's front yard. So, massive hit. You're just lucky there's a car going past. Huh?
Well, he's a danger to cars and windows everywhere, Sam Webber. It's another big hit.
And Mrs. Smith's front yard.
Smith,
she
yeah.
keeps her vegetable garden very nice, but I don't know what you'd be thinking of a imprint of a cricket ball amongst those veggies.
I think you should be used to it. There'll be a lot of cricket played here over the years and a lot of sixes, I imagine, go over that fence.
I don't know if she still lives there. I'll have to check that out later. Three for 55. Well, somebody lives there. They're throwing the ball back. Maybe they're listening to the coverage. Hashtag Bar TV Sports. And let us know who lives there. Because I'll tell you what, I reckon that house has been up for sale once or twice over the years. Yeah, that's for sure. So Webber, 18. He goes two off 8 deliveries. He's on strike. Plays this one into the ground. They'll come through for one.
Yeah, good batting by Webber. You know, when you hit a big six like that, sometimes the feeling is to go for another, but instead he just knocked that over for the quick single with a nice little bunt there to sort of mid-wicket, turning the strike over. It's important at this stage. Newcastle 3 for 56 after 8.4 overs. Littlewood on 14 and Webber on 19 from 9 deliveries.
Scurry through for one. So Littlewood goes to 15. Webber on strike, 19. He goes to, as you can see on the Bar TV scoreboard, 3 for 57. This is the T20, the final expected to be taking place at the Sydney Cricket Ground on the 2nd of November. Bowled him! Straight through him, knocks him over. Newcastle lose their 4th wicket, and Webber goes for 19.
Yeah, good bowling by Walsh. He would just keep at the stumps, and that's the way Webber plays. He loves to play some cross-bat shots, and when it doesn't work, he crashes into the stumps. And important wicket there for St George. Newcastle now 4 for 57, and here's the replay.
This is how he got through him.
Yeah, the wrong shot just there. He really should have just come forward, probably try to hit down the ground, but instead he's played right across the line. The ball hasn't bounced enough and has crashed into off stump.
So he makes his way back to the pavilion, and Price, Joseph from Toronto, makes his way out onto Hurstville Oval.
Got a duck against Gordon, so I'm sure he'll be pretty keen to get out there and make amends and score some important runs in this second game for Newcastle. We're at at 4 for 57. I'd say St George are in control here after 9 overs. I think St George bat a fair bit deeper than Gordon do, so I think Newcastle really need to probably going to want 170, I think, to win this game. So, but Littlewood is still at the crease. He's looking good for his 15 runs off 18 balls. So, if you need someone to go with him, and Joe Price probably has to be that man.
Yeah. Just getting a few tweets through. Mrs. Price no longer lives in that house. It's Mr. Brock. He says he lives there. If the ball comes here again, I'll eat it. So he's feeling the pinch. But great to have Joshua Brock on board, one of our valued viewers. Take the single down to Damien Burke.
Change the bowl here at the northern end, or southern end, sorry. St George with Luke Stanton coming on, the left armour.
So Price on strike for the first time. Littlewood goes to 16. And Stanton on his way in from the southern end. Fielded there by Simon Chu in 6.
It's a nice day for viewing here. It's just a nice cool breeze to keep everyone
off the deodorant,
off the deodorants and overheated. But yeah, a few people here, isn't there, Pete? There's a nice, lovely hill, terraced hill there, nice. to the left of the commentary box.
Nice palm trees with a few seagulls over there on the right. Good shot into the gap. That'll go to the fence for 4. Oh, Price. 4 runs. Found the meat of the bat and off it went.
Wasn't much of a gap there. It was only a couple of metres, and he's picked it beautifully right between the cover and the back, the deep mid off. But yeah, beautiful shot by Joey Price.
This is it on the replay. Good shot into the gap. That'll go to the mentioned. Found its way through. Tries to have another crack. Chu fields it. Yeah, but getting back to the field, the ground. It's one of the oldest ones in Sydney cricket. 1911. It was when the first match was played here. And for anybody that wants to check out the history and the memorabilia of the St George Cricket Club, come along next time the local cricket is being played, because there's a stack of memorabilia out the back in the pavilion here, dating way back to the early days of the history here at Hurstville Oval. Definitely one to observe and take in. That's the end of that over. Newcastle 4 for 63. And as we mentioned, you know, it's not just a cricket oval. It was the home of the St George Dragons as well, when they were playing in the New South Wales Rugby League competition back in the 20s and the 30s. They had a few games here. And then, of course, they moved away to one of the other local suburban grounds before the ground where they're playing half their matches, I guess, these days at Cogra Oval is, just situated up over the hill there. As Price is on the bat and takes the catch. Is he out? No. Well, there was a nick, but it wasn't off the bat. 4 for 63.
What have been the sound of the bat hitting the pitch here? We'll take a look on the replay. Yeah, I think it was just the bat jamming down there on the pitch from Joe Price. But just getting back to St George's, some great former players that have played it with this great club over the years. Single there to Joey Price. But of course, the most famous of them all is cricket's probably most famous ever player, Don Bradman. Of course, played here when he moved up from Barrel and played with St George. Played with New South Wales. He played all his cricket with St George. But some others, of course, Kerry O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Skull, one of the great characters of cricket and ABC commentary. He played here. Josh Hazelwood is another. He's a good young quick on the, probably what many say, on the verge of playing Test cricket. Stewie McGill, a great Test leg spinner. Probably should have played a lot more cricket had Shane Warne not been in the same era as him.
Good point. You feel sorry for players like that, don't you? You know, when they come through at the time where the greats are also in those positions. One run. 4 for 65.
Another one going right back, of course, Bill Tiger O'Reilly. Another great leg spinner. He played at St George as well. The great leg spinners of the 1930s.
Yeah, definitely.
Ray Linwell, another one. Another great.
Ray Linwell.
Another great of Australian Test cricket.
Take it.
So plenty of superstars of the game have played on the hallowed turf of Hurstville Oval over the years for St George.
Just touching back on the history of this ground, just to be a bit more factual, the Dragons, they played here from 21 to 24. Then they returned here from 1940 through to 1949. Down the ground, they'll get one.
Well, it would have been their debut season because the Dragons came to the comp in 1921, so they would have started their stint as a New South Wales Rugby League side here at Hurstville Oval.
And of course, been a bit of cycling, football as well over the years here, and of course the velodrome in between the field and the stands, as we've witnessed when the balls travel over the rope here for 4 or 6. So it's a multi-sport arena here at Hurstville, and of course the St George Cycling Club, I think they were originally known as the Hurstville Bicycle Club, also started their competition here in 1906. There's a 6 all the way and slams into the fence. Big shot from Littlewood. That takes him to 26. He's on strike. 4 for 75, Newcastle.
Just opened up his arms there a bit, Littlewood, and played across the line, but he nailed it completely, so there was never any risk of going down the throat of the fielder. Just picks off a single here to mid to deep square leg. Littlewood will move to 27, 25 balls. Newcastle 4 for 76 in the 12th over.
Of course, Hurstville Oval here was one of the host venues last year for the Ryobi one-day major interstate one-day cricket competition here in Australia. New South Wales defeated Western Australia by 5 wickets last year. Here's a chance. Coming underneath it, takes a beauty. Nice catch there by the 6 in Simon Chu. for St. George. Newcastle lose another wicket. It's now 5 for 77.
Yeah, big wicket there for St. George. Could be very costly for Newcastle. Take a look here on the replay with Stanton bowling to Littlewood. Just lifted his head, never got hold of the ball completely, skied it. And a bit of a difficult catch for Shield. He had to run backwards and catch the ball over his shoulder, but he took it well. And Newcastle now 5 for 77. That could be quite a costly wicket though, because Littlewood, he was looking great. Beautiful 6, only 2 balls earlier. And he's the captain and probably the gun batsman in the Newcastle lineup. So to lose him at this important point is going to be very problematic for the Newcastle Steel side.
No doubt. They'll be after to form some sort of major partnership now leading into the back end.
Well, Jeff Ginnin, we saw in the first game, he came out and belted a couple of 6s that really got Newcastle back in the game. So let's see if he can do it again.
Price on strike. Come through for 1. The bowling there of Stanton.
Jeff Ginnin had a bit of a breakout year last summer in Newcastle cricket, playing for Stockton. Scored, I think, 600 runs, including, I think, 3 centuries for the whole year in different forms of cricket. And I think he's about 21, 22 from memory. And yeah, one of the great young up-and-coming players. I think he'll spend a lot of time in New South Wales country cricket in the years to come. A little split screen there going from Bar TV. Got all the tricks here.
That's why we won that award. Multi-use of cameras. We've got 3 cameras positioned around the ground here this afternoon here at Hurstville Oval. We've got Chardon Waite, won a few awards over the years. He's a freelance cameraman downstairs as well, and one out towards the old stand. So I hope you're enjoying the coverage. This one goes down the third man. They'll take 1 off the bat there of Price. So Newcastle out now to 80.
Got over by Stanton. He got the big wicket of Littlewood, and he's bowled pretty tightly. Didn't give anything away, except for that 6 early in the over. But he certainly got his revenge for that.
So we've got picture in picture here on Bar TV at the moment as we have a change of ends. So
they'll make a bowling change here to St. George.
Coming on is McCabe. Stuart McCabe.
Just discussing his field there with his captain, Trent Copeland. But they've got a deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, and also a guy on the fence at mid-on. Sorry, and also on the offside we have a deep cover and a deep mid-off with 4 in the ring, 3 on the offside and 1 on the leg side. So here comes McCabe.
Price sees the gap, goes straight to the fielder out there. They get 1.
He'll be disappointed with that, Joey Price, because that was a rank long hop if you'll ever see one. And he's picked out the fielder and really should have went for 4. You got to pounce on those looseners in T20 cricket.
Getting it on strike.
Better ball there by McCabe. He slowed it down and flighted it up a little bit. But I don't think it'll be too long before Gninin goes after this. In the first game against Gordon, Gninin hit several 6s off Gordon's leg spinner, Josh Poyston. So I imagine he'll do the same here. Cuts can't beat the fielder. So yeah, he's bowling some nice length here, McCabe.
Straight back to the bowler. Okay, first over. Getting through them pretty quickly. It's been a good over thus far. Just 1 run from that over. Newcastle 5 for 81.
And that's it with T20 cricket. Like an over that only goes for say 1 or 2 runs, it's just absolutely vital. It can be match winning for a side. And yeah, St George to keep Newcastle to 5 for 81 after 13 overs. They'd be ecstatic with that. And a great bit of bowling by the leg spinner there, McCabe, because of course it's very difficult being a leggy. It's a tough art, but he bowled well.
Price cuts it down. Third man, they come through for 1. Stanton running in. Well, I guess this breeze is all over the place at the moment. It's swirling around everywhere.
It's probably going across the pitch, to be honest. Probably slightly behind, sort of from fine leg through to mid-off.
They come through for another single run. Takes the total now to 5 for 83. Good bowling there from Stanton, not allowing Price to go after it. So he's line and length. Good so far in this third over for him. Coming into the 14th. Price goes for it. Could be out. Takes the catch. Another wicket falls for Newcastle. And St George now. Are they got the upper hand? The catch was out there, taken of course by Andrew Hicks in 13. So Newcastle, another one goes back to the pavilion. Price has gone for 11. And it's 6 for 83, Josh Leeson.
Look at Stanton here. He's got some good heat on this ball, but yeah, straight down the throat of the fielder. Couldn't have picked him out any better. And that's Joe Price gone for 11 from 13 balls, and Newcastle 6 for 83 and in real trouble now in the 14th over. But there's still got a bit of batting to come. Ganninen's at the crease. We've still got Ben Balcombe, Bailey McGill to come, so still a fair bit of batting to come. But someone really needs to build a partnership and start hitting some boundaries, because we are running out of overs.
Just take it to them now. More than likely be the call of the day. Still 6 overs remaining though. So you want to chew up as many overs as you can. But obviously, more points needed quickly from Newcastle. So will it come down to McGill and Ganninen to form that formidable partnership, which just needs to happen. Here comes Stanton. Live on the Newcastle Herald website. And a lot of traffic goes through the Newcastle Herald website, and of course Bar TV. I'd like to thank everybody in at the Herald for their association developed throughout the entire year with Bar TV. As they push it into the gap, they'll get one. Takes the total now to 84. And that's the end of the over. McGill will be on strike shortly. Notched up one. Getting in on the other end. 2 from 7. Both of them haven't spent that long together out there at the crease. If you just clicked on, a wicket fell a few moments ago. The 6th wicket of the afternoon. And as you can see, top left hand corner of your monitor, 15th over, 84 runs for the loss of 6 wickets here at Hurstfield Oval.
It'll be McCabe, the leg spinner again, bowling to McGill.
McGill pulls it.
He led him away with that again too. They should have went for 4. But but picked out the fielder again. So Newcastle really got to take these opportunities because St George's bowling's been quite tight and disciplined all day. They haven't given them any opportunities, so when they do, they really got to take it.
Bowling to McGinnon. Straight back to the bowler, McCabe. Nice placement. Calling for 2. They're coming back. Needs to be a good throw. Throws just wide at the wicket, so they were able to return home quite nicely for 2.
Good running by McGinnon and Bailey McGill. They've really got to look for those 2s when they can get them. Disperse that with a few boundaries and get that total up well over 100.
Will they come back for the second? They do. Good throw, but he's home.
Lucky that wasn't on the full. I think if it been on the full to the wicketkeeper, he was probably going to be out there. But the bounce saved Jeff Kinninan. Gave him that extra little split second he needed to get back in safely. But again, good running by these pair.
Partnership of 6. McCabe coming in. Kinninan opens his shoulder blades and says, I'm going to smack that out of the park. 6 runs, and Kinninan goes to 12. And the ball, again, has gone to Gaga land.
Great shot. He hit a few similar in his first match, but that was a lot further than those two, the other 6s. He really cracked that one. Beautiful slog sweep. Steve Ward would be proud of that one. We're getting heckled by the crowd here, Pete. What's going on?
Don't think they like my choice of words. Can't blame them. Straight back to the bowler. That's the end of the over. Newcastle 6 for 95. Well, the beverages are flowing. The crowd's building. It's pretty rare, I guess, for a crowd to come to their local oval and see television company producing their cricket. So it's nice to see that the crowd's gathering around the commentary box, having a look at the monitor, enjoying the coverage, listening to every word. That's the key, listening to every word of the Bar TV coverage. And it's great to be associated with this type of cricket, Bar TV. So stay tuned to our Twitter account and our Facebook account in coming days to...
Well, I think there's plenty of interest in the Sydney grade competition. I mean, for a long time it's been sort of touted as probably the strongest club comp in the world, really. I mean, Sydney and Melbourne, some of the strongest cricket there is, and some great players. I mean, all your test players and state players have all come through this comp over time. So to see these sort of quality players on your screen, it's great to see. And we could be seeing a few of the stars of the future potentially.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, working your way up through the ranks and hopefully wearing that baggy green, the ultimate prize for any cricketer. Couldn't find the gap. Cut off.
Yeah, Edwards is back on. He's moved around now to the southern end. It should, with the breeze, it should help his left arm orthodox drift into the left-handed batsman.
Edwards coming in. Stumped is he? Could well be. Oh, it's a wide. Oh.
Hand gets stumped off a wide though, Pete.
Yeah.
So, but the umpires ruled that he didn't lift up his back foot. But great bit of wicket keeping there from Guy Seymour. He had the. We'll have a look here again on the Bar TV replay. Yeah, I think good decision by the umpire. I think he did rise the back foot there for a second, but he got it back down. But again, great little bit of bowling by Edwards and keeping from Seymour.
McGill on strike. Oh, he wants a quick one. He's going to be run out. He's gone. Oh, he's opposite man in the 10 from Newcastle. Didn't want to run in Kinninan, and he's on his way back to the pavilion.
In fairness to Jeff Ninn, I don't think the run was ever on there. It was the right decision, but Bailey McGill, probably the call, didn't come early enough. Went straight to the fielder. Look here again. He's knocked there to do cover. Great pickup by Copeland. Straight back over the stumps. Great bit of fielding. And that's another costly wicket for Newcastle now. 7 for 96 after 15.2 overs. I think at this stage Newcastle will be pretty happy if they can get to 130, but yeah, it's looking like they might struggle to get past like 120 at this stage. Which I think on this pitch and with this St George batting order, that's going to be well short.
Thoughts there from Josh Leeson. You'll be able to read about this match and the earlier match Newcastle featured in against Gordon in tomorrow's Newcastle Herald. Go along to the news agency and buy the paper. Alternatively, theherald.com.au. Click on local sport. And of course, Josh has been with the Herald now for 6 or 7 years. 6 years. Doesn't time go quick? Of course, graduated from the University of Newcastle, came down from Gunnedah. Bringing you, the viewers and the readers, back home in Newcastle, all the action in local sport. Doesn't matter if it's the real NRL, cricket, you name it. Josh has got his name to it on that byline. Have you ever figured out how many stories you've written over those 6 years? In the thousands, wouldn't it, Josh?
I'd hate to even think about it. It's a long, long time.
Edwards.
When I think about how many sporting cliches I've used over that time, wow, it's mind-blowing.
It would fit an MCG. They strike it down the ground. This is gone over the top of the fence and into the trees for 6. Good shot, straight down the ground, bringing a bit of enthusiasm back to T20 cricket.
I'd nearly go far to say it's the best shot we've seen today. That was sensational movement of the feet by Jeff Kinnan. He got to the pitch of that ball quick as, and then just slammed it over the top of the side screen down here at the southern end of the field. Hit that clean as a whistle. What other cliche do you want me to throw in? But it was a great shot.
These little kids now have got to go away and find the ball. We could be having a break of a few minutes. It's gone into the shrubbery, I guess you'd call it.
Badly needed that 6 for Newcastle. It's got them over to got their 100 now, up in the 16th over. They can press on with these two and maybe knock around another 30, 40 runs. Give them something to defend. But Jeff Kinnan, he's had a great game, or great day I should say. Hit some beautiful 6s in the earlier game against Gordon. We're just looking back behind this ground here when we've got a guy crawling through what looks like a palm or some sort of shrub for the ball.
It's come out empty-handed, hasn't it? There's still one more in there having a dig. In there with his shovel.
But of course, just going on to more of a serious note, I mean, this exercise, the Sydney T20 comp for Newcastle, I suppose is all about maybe the long-term plan of trying to get a Newcastle Big Bash League franchise. I mean, there was talk about it a couple of years ago, but really the availability of not having a ground, a proper stadium capable of holding cricket has really held it back. I know there's number one sports ground is a great cricket ground, but the off-field amenities really aren't up to TV standards that you need for a Big Bash League. And there was talk about trying to drop-in pitches on Hunter Stadium, which, well, I guess in theory, I don't think it would work, especially with the Newcastle Jets playing in the middle of summer as well. And then you've got, obviously the short boundaries, square of the wicket. So, but the good news is there is a concerted effort from New South Wales Cricket and from New South Wales ACT AFL to actually upgrade number one sports ground so it can host big name cricket and AFL games. So of course anything that has to do with the government funding always takes a long time, so I'm not sure how long that will be until we ever see a good ground and possible BBL franchise from Newcastle. But I think if the Big Bash League is to grow and in Cricket Australia saying they want it to grow eventually. Newcastle would be a fantastic venue to have a team like that, because there's obviously a large cricket-loving public out there who'd love to see their own team, and also some of the big-name cricketers in Australia and from overseas in their own backyard.
And of course, you know, the stranglehold of sport, I guess, in Newcastle is still rugby league. And if it's taken us 20 odd years to get funding from the government to build Hunter Stadium, how long is it going to take us to get as Josh said, a cricket ground of, you know, the stature which can represent the region to be very proud indeed. So I think we're talking probably essential, I reckon a good 10, 15, 20 years. Hopefully not, but they found the ball. Well, there you go.
Well, what's going to be huge for Newcastle in February this year, February next year I should say, is the return of Sheffield Shield cricket to number 1 sports ground.
Yeah.
New South Wales will be playing Western Australia there in February. And I think it's been about 4 or 5 years since we had any first-class cricket at Newcastle. Back in the old days, there used to be a lot of touring sides would play New South Wales. I remember going as a kid to see the West Indies and England play.
Was that out at Carl?
There was a game there once,
Yeah.
but that was before my time. But
I remember going there.
But I remember going to the number 1 sports ground a couple of times and watching the West Indies play and lining up to get Curtly Ambrose's autograph.
Yeah.
He was a very scary man for a 10-year-old kid.
Deep voice. Down the ground. Cut off here by Damien Burke. So just a little bit of a stoppage there in play as they had to have a bit of a dig around for the cricket ball, which went way over the commentary box roof. Picking up one here as well. So Newcastle take it to 105.
Single there to Ben Balcombe. He didn't get a bat in the first game against Gordon, so he'll be keen to cash in here, and he's got plenty of work to do too in these final 4 overs with Ginninan. Two of the younger members of the Newcastle rep side, who I guess Newcastle fans will be hoping will be the bedrock of the team for the next 10 years. I know it's probably going to be a bit of a change in the guard in a few years' time. We've got guys like Simon Moore and Mark Littlewood and Troy Goodwin have been around, and Mark Cameron have been around the side a long time, and they're all sort of getting on in age. So it's going to be guys like Jeff Ginninan and Ben Balcombs and Jaden Parks and Bailey McGills who really are the next generation of Newcastle cricket.
So the future of cricket in Newcastle, fairly safe?
I think it's looking good, yeah. There's a really good generation coming through. Anyway, Trent Copeland's back on from the northern end.
Will it head towards the boundary? It's getting closer. It's going. It's gone. Nearly cracked his head on the cement. But the ball found the line. But credit due there to the 13 who was chasing it in Andrew Hicks.
Yeah, showed a bit of intestinal fortitude there to run that down and try and attempt to knock that back in with the velodrome rink there. Always wonder with some of these grounds, it's quite dangerous to have these velodromes right on cricket grounds. I know Townsend Oval has the same problem. At Townsend Oval, the actual velodrome is actually part of the cricket field.
Is that right?
Believe it or not. Yeah, it's madness.
Josh Leeson from the Newcastle Herald bringing his wealth of knowledge to the Bar TV cricket commentary box. It's his second stint.
It's pretty dry wealth. I'll give you the tip.
You said over the top. That's 6. Yes, he puts his hands up, went all the way, just cleared it, and the ball. How many times has this ball smashed into the cement this afternoon for 6?
I wouldn't enjoy bowling here if I was a seamer, because I reckon the ball must get chewed up pretty quickly with his velodrome. But another great shot by Ginninan. These 2 knocks he's scored in these games today have been sensational. He's been probably the go-to man for Newcastle. And another 6 here, this time over the top of cover. He's already showed some slog sweeps and some whacks down the ground, but now over cover as well. That takes him to 25 off 15 deliveries. Newcastle 7 for 116 after 16.3 overs. And
Well, they're searching again for this ball.
Yeah, this is frustrating for both batsmen and bowlers. I mean, as a batsman, when you start cracking sixes and fours, you really want to keep it going, keep the momentum going. And the same with bowlers. There's nothing worse than when you get hit for a six and you got to stand there and wait to get the ball back, because as soon as you get hit for a six, all you want to do is get the ball back in the hand and rip into that batsman. So very frustrating for all involved.
So third over for Copeland. He's been able to pinch 24 runs off his bowling. And down the ground it goes. This time it quite doesn't make the fence. Cut off, so they take the single. So Newcastle now pushing out to 7 for 117 on the Bar TV cricket scoreboard. The summer of cricket live on Bar TV from Hurstville Oval. There's Copeland continuing. Straight to the wicketkeeper.
Good change of pace there from Copeland. The wily veteran showing his knowledge of cricket. Changing the pace, making it harder for the batsman to get the ball off the square and get it to the boundary.
Partnership, Josh, of 21. We spoke about the need for a partnership, and we're seeing it. That's the end of the over. Newcastle, 7 for 117. Don't forget, tickets are on sale for the World Cup one-day international match. Of course, the final will be played at the Melbourne Cricket Ground in March, just in time, well, just before the start of the NRL season. So get along to the MCG, and of course it's jointly awarded to New Zealand and Australia this time. Not since 1992 has Australia partnership with New Zealand to form the World Cup, so it's a long time between drinks. And it's back here in Australia in February. The Cricket World Nations here on home soil. Let's see what can come of this. Bang, crash over the top. Will it go all the way down to the boundary? They're coming across to cut it off. They do. They come through for two. 119 the score.
Well
Goes up to.
Well fielded there by McCabe. He cut off the boundary and kept it at two. But another nice shot there by Kinninan. He really seems to have his eye in today.
Here comes Hicks. Kinninan opens the leather. Bang, crash. Just short of the commentary team. And over the fence it went.
Another couple of metres, it would have been crashing into our broadcast computer. We might have went off the air, but another fantastic shot by Kinninan. There must be 4 sixes, I think, this in this knock of.
Maybe he's trying to clean us up. Another whack, straight down the ground. They take one. Bit of a fumble, looking for two, but sensibility prevailed in the end. So Kinninan goes to 35 off 19. A good knock for him, while Balcombe on 7 from 6. Hicks into his third over.
Yeah, I think for Balcombe, he's just got to knock around a single here, get the strike back to McGinnon.
An edge. They come through for the single. So Newcastle now. It's 26.
The way the Stockton wicketkeeper's hitting him, and he wants to make sure he's got all the strike here. Balcombe, if he can just knock around the singles, farm the strike, I think it'll give Newcastle Steel the best chance of trying to make a competitive total here. At 7 for 127, they've certainly rescued themselves. It was looking a bit dire there for a while, but this partnership of 31 has really been a bit of a godsend for the Novocastrians.
Here comes Hicks, bowling to Kinninan. Kinninan goes over the top. Another 4, just finds the grass, I think you'll find. Umpire disagrees, he gives 6. Josh, what do you think, 6 or 4?
I thought it hit the grass personally,
Yeah.
but
Hit the rope. Let's say it hit the rope. So if it hits the rope, hit the the cement.
Well, that could be controversial if this game ends up really tight.
Another one into the ground. They'll take through. No, they'll just take the one. Straight down to the number 9 for St. George in Trent Copeland, the captain. So that's the end of that over. Newcastle now 7 for 134. And only a matter of 15 minutes ago, they were struggling in a few people's minds to approach 100. But that partnership that we've spoken about, 38 now between Ganinan and Belcope. So they're on their way, Ganinan, to half a century. Can he do that for his own personal endeavour this afternoon? 42 off 21 as he's on strike facing Copeland. Bit of a bouncer there, straight through to the keeper.
Yeah, it's probably fair to say, you know, that Newcastle Cricket's relied on a senior bunch of players for a long time at rep level, but we're really seeing some of the youngsters really step up today and take a bit of ownership of this team, especially Jeff Ganinan. I think he's only his second season of rep cricket, and he's looks very assured out there today. He's 42 off 22.
Ganinan, is he going to? Yeah, up and caught. Caught and bowled. Well, he was in two minds. He didn't know whether to go bang-o or just to block it, and it just got that bit of a block, bit of height. Caught.
Yeah,
caught and bowled.
The wily old fox, Trent Copeland, he just rolled his fingers over the back of that ball, the slower ball, completely fooled Ganinan. He ended up not going through the shot at all. As you said, he was stuck between hitting out and hitting along the ground, and in the end he just tapped it back to Copeland for the easiest of caught and bowled catches. But finishes a good knock from Jeff Ganinan, 42 off 23 deliveries. Newcastle now 8 for 134 with 10 balls remaining in this innings.
And this is the wicket. Well, he was in two minds. Look, whether to go over Mr. Smith's fence again or straight back to...
You see there Copeland, he bowled that ball out of the back of his hand then. Took the pace off the ball and completely fooled Ganinan.
As now Copeland into his fourth over. Been able to knock off 25 runs for him, yeah.
Mark Cameron, the player coach at the crease now, facing Copeland. These two, Copeland and Cameron, would have played a little bit of shield cricket together, I imagine. Both were stalwarts of the New South Wales Blues side for quite a while. Copeland still plays a little bit for the Blues.
Both know one another's games then pretty well. So let's see if they can finish this off with a bang. Cameron, a few overs to go. That's in the air. Into the gap, going down to the boundary for 4.
I don't think he knew much about that one. Again, it was Copeland bowled that out of the back of his hand, and he's caught the outside edge of Cameron's bat and it skied over the top of the slips and to safety at the third man boundary. But yeah, Cameron's not known for his batting, more of a fast bowler, of course, but he's a big hitter. He's no mug with the bat, so if he can chime in here with a quick 15, 20 runs, Newcastle will be laughing, but Copeland will be hard to get away. Very nagging bowler.
Cameron on strike. Goes straight back down the wicket. Might have got a touch to it there. They scurry through for a single. 8 for 139. Cameron goes to 5. Knock home on 8. Copeland continuing from the northern end.
Benny's back on that one, Copeland. You can hear him putting a little bit of extra exertion from the commentary box. And yeah, probably missed out there. Balcom probably needed to get a bit of bat on that and get it to the boundary. It was short and wide. But now with 1 over to spare, Newcastle are 8 for 139. And they'll be aiming to try and get the score up over 150 to post a competitive total. I still reckon that they probably at the start of the game needed about 170 on this pitch. But if they get to 150, considering where they were after 13 overs, I think they'll be ecstatic with that.
2 wickets in hand.
Andrew Hicks is going to bowl the final over. He's gone for 29 in his 3 overs so far. Had good figures until Jeff Nin got into him a couple of overs ago and put him over the southern boundary.
Let's see if Cameron can do the same. Straight down the ground. Straight down there to Damien Burke. And they come through for 1.
Good fielding by Burke. He restricted the 2. Balcom and Cameron thought about it for a second, but wisely opted to remain in their crease and settle for the 1.
Straight to the fielder. No run.
Yeah, well bowled and well fielded there from St George. Any dot ball in the 20th over is absolute gold.
Straight down the ground. Might look for 2. No.
Cameron's knocked him back. They've really just got to find the gaps. If you look at the outfield right now, there's a gap sort of at a whitish mid-off. Also at cow corner and also at point. But Hicks is bowling quite straight here. He's not giving much away, and down the ground it's pretty well protected. So I think Cameron will probably be looking to squeeze something through the gully point region or maybe through the covers.
Cameron on strike. Straight to the keeper. Another dot ball.
Yeah, that 150's looking out of reach now. Maybe set up a 145, 146 Newcastle. Been a good final over here by Hicks. Yeah, well bowled. Hicks a slower ball. Cameron was unable to get any bat on it. Had to settle for the leg bye. Newcastle moved 8 for 142 with 2 balls remaining.
Oh, inside edge, and it's going to go all the way down to the boundary for 4. You need a bit of luck, and they've got it.
Yeah, the old French cut. If you can get away with that, you'll take it. That's a good 4 there to end the Newcastle innings. Newcastle end with 8 for 146.
From where they've been to where they are now, good effort by Newcastle. That partnership certainly has helped them out quite a lot. So that is the final score of the innings for Newcastle, as Josh just mentioned there. 8 down for 146. So Balcom finishes on 13 from 11. Cameron, he knocked up 6 from 6. And Copeland finishes with 2 wickets from 4 overs, and they've been able to bash 28 runs off him. Well, that is all she wrote for the innings of Newcastle.
Have a look at the Newcastle card there. We see that Kinnunen top scored with a beautiful 42. I think that featured about 4 or 5 sixes. And Littlewood, a very supportive innings there in the middle with 28. And Webber too chimed in with a nice 19, which again featured several sixes. But overall, I think they're probably 20 runs short because this is a good pitch, and I think St George do bat quite deep. So, but it's there to be won. It's certainly a competitive total.
It's there to be won when we return here to Hurstville Oval. The chase is on for the home side. We'll return in a few minutes and see if they can come away with the victory over Newcastle St George. We'll break and be back here to Hurstville Oval very shortly. And welcome back to Hurstville Oval. Well, it's all in front now of St. George. Run rate, the required run rate, around the 7.35. Newcastle, 146 for victory for St. George. On strike is McCabe and Chu. Cameron to start the bowling from the southern end. This is the T20 Cup, live and exclusive right here on the home of the competition. And not the best start for Newcastle.
He's ruled a dead ball there, actually.
Dead ball.
Ruled the batsman didn't try and play a shot.
He's asking the question, having a chat between the umpire.
Yeah, he's arguing the case, but of course the rule is, from my knowledge of the game, which I'm not an umpire, I must admit, but yeah, if you've got to play a shot, whatever hits the pad to get the runs. But anyway, a bit of a lucky break there for Newcastle. I think if they're going to win this game, they need to strike early. And Mark Cameron, as the spearhead, the first-class member of the side, he really needs to come out here and rip in.
First run's on the board for St. George. Of course, a big backer of the Newcastle competition is the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Major sponsor for Newcastle Cricket. Great to have them on board. Of course, Kingsgrove Sport, another massive sponsor. Forsyths, Modcoms, and of course, Kookaburra. Chew just blocking it in the first over. Well, we started the day up around 31, 32 degrees. It's fairly hot, fairly uncomfortable for the Gordon Newcastle players. But as the day has gone on, player comfort still quite high, around 26, 25.
Good bouncer there by Cameron. Chu had to evade that one. Would have copped him in the melon otherwise, but that's certainly where you want to get the bouncer if you're going to use it in T20 cricket. I know in the Big Bash League they're starting to use balls like the slow bouncer and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen any slow bouncers today yet. But Mark Cameron, does a bit of coaching with the Sydney Thunder last year, so he's certainly up to speed with what's happening on in Big Bash cricket.
Is that a wide? Looks like one. It is. Called a wide.
Attempted slow ball there by bowling out of the back of his hands, going down the leg side. But run rate of 7.57 for St. George here, which is quite gettable, I think, but Newcastle's going to have to bowl well.
So 2 off the first over. None for 2, St. George. So you're watching the Kingsgrove Sport T20s from Hurstville Oval. We've had a series of double headers, well, triple headers here this afternoon. And of course this all goes through to the grand final at the Sydney Cricket Ground on Sunday the 2nd of November.
Yeah, now Newcastle in the first match, they went with Nick Foster, the off-spinner, in the second over of the game. They're going to do that again. This time he's coming around the wicket, bowling to the left-handed McCabe. They kept him for 1 over in the first game, and then he sort of went for a bit of stick, and they took him off, took him out of the attack and brought him back a little bit later, where he did bowl much better. So Be interesting to see if he can improve on his first match effort, Nick Foster, the Stockton Raymond Terrace captain. He's been the sort of the leading spin bowler in Newcastle cricket for quite a while now. To be quite honest, probably Newcastle has lacked a lot of spin depth in recent years, but Foster's sort of been the mainstay ever since the retirement of Ben Moormer, who was a great leg spinner for Newcastle cricket for a long time.
McCabe into the gap, rolling towards the boundary. Not so sure if it will go all the way. Cut off. They'll look for 3. They're coming back. And 3 runs easily came in the end for St. George. So none for 5.
Yeah, nice little sort of punch off the back foot there by McCabe. Picked up 3 runs.
So Chew on strike now for the first time. Run rate still hovering around 7.54. Target is 146. Newcastle victorious over Gordon in the first match of the afternoon's proceedings here.
Well fielded off his own bowling, Foster. He's banged in quite hard into the pitch there by Chew. Still a little bit short. I'd like to see him try to toss that ball up a little bit and entice Chew into trying to go down the ground.
Chew. He'll find the fence. Good shot.
Yeah, again, much too short there from Foster. He dragged that down and he allowed Chew plenty of time to rock back on that back foot and hoik him over deep square leg for a 4.
Chew on strike. This time he goes down the ground. Misfield out there, so they come back through for the second. Chew now goes to 6. St. George, none for 11. Chew says, let's go high. This may well go down the throat of Newcastle. It does. First wicket for St. George. They've fallen over at the feet there, right out on the boundary.
Yeah, Joe Price took a good, easy catch there. Fell for the trap, didn't he? Chew, he just he tossed it up, Foster, and he just smashed it straight down his throat. And he had plenty of room out there. There's only one fielder out there, and he's picked him out like a dirty nose.
Straight down. He gobbled it up. So Chew back to the pavilion for 6. So George lose their first wicket in the second over of the 2020. And coming out now for them in jersey 8 is their wicket keeper and Guy Seymour. And he goes up on the big screen as well. So McCabe on strike.
It was better bowling there by Foster too. He sort of dragged these first few down, but that time he tossed the ball up a little bit. There's a bit of breeze coming over his shoulder, so a little bit of drift for the off spinner. And I'm not sure if he beat him in flight, but the batsman just didn't really middle it, and he put it straight down his throat.
That's the end of that over. So George, 1 for 11. Wicket, of course, coming from the second over of the afternoon for Newcastle. Chasing 146 for victory. It'll be a tough ask. They're in red hot form, St. George, but you just never know. That's what sport is all about, being unpredictable. So Cameron coming in from the southern end, just having a quick chat there to Mark Little, who's on the left-hand side of him. Facing Seymour. Into the gap, that's 4. Beautifully played. Lightning field, 4 runs.
Obviously going for the Yorker there, Mark Cameron. He's over pitched, full toss. and easily dispatched there by Seymour. First ball he's faced. He'd love to face a nice, juicy, full toss outside off stump to get yourself off the mark, especially when you're facing Mark Cameron. He doesn't bowl too many.
Seymour again on strike. Looking for one. And comfortably achieve it.
Yeah, well played there again by Seymour. He looks a good bat, actually, from I think 2 shots I've seen. Just holds the bat nicely and yes, knocked that away there to cover, which from what was a good ball by Mark Cameron. St George now 1 for 16 to 2.2 overs. Still, we haven't necessarily seen any swing today, so
McCabe goes to 5. Seymour identical in points to McCabe. He's also on 5. It's Cameron. Second over.
Beautiful shot by Seymour. He's cracked that through backward point. Got a little bit of extra room. Leaned back on it and cut it away. Beautiful cricket shot.
And the points just coming beautifully off the bat there of Seymour.
Points. What game are we playing here, Pete? Jeez.
I know. I was doing it for you. The runs. Good old runs.
There's plenty of funny things in cricket. I know my wife always struggles to work out how there's like 3 different meanings for the word wicket in cricket.
What are they? That looked a bit like they may scamper through, and they do. Good running there by St George.
Well, of course, you got your wicket, which it refers to the stumps.
Yeah.
Refer to the stumps. A wicket can also refer to the actual pitch, and a wicket also refers to someone who gets out and loses their wicket. So yeah, being new to the game, she struggles to grasp the different meanings of the word. But you know, that's cricket.
I might have a word with her one day over a coffee. We might be able to help each other out. Listening to our coverage back home in Newcastle. I understand she may even be off with yourself to the Ashes of 2015 over in England. That'd be a trip of a lifetime, Josh.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Just got to get the tickets. That's the hard part on those.
Yeah, the grounds are quite small over there, and obviously Ashes is a big ticket item, so I sell out quite quick. But yeah, we'd certainly love to go.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you know, you just got to do it once in your lifetime.
Sammy Webber coming on into the attack now in the 4th over of the innings. St George 1 for 23 and looking pretty comfortable. Guy Seymour's hitting the ball beautifully, and he's 9 runs from 4 deliveries so far. Just looks a very assured player, especially on the offside.
Few.
Yeah, Webber having a bit of a talk with his captain, Mark Littlewood.
Changes.
Discussing fields.
Yeah.
Greg Hunt's coming over to be helpful. So, hey, I used to play here, I know this ground.
There's a committee meeting out there. All having their say. Everyone's on your screen, including the umpire behind the bails. Just turning around to see where the bowler is coming from. Webber just shining it up. Moves into McCabe. Down the third man. Nicely played. One run. The 4th over. St George 24 for the loss of 1. Good shot. Will it go to the boundary? You bet it does. Nicely played. And the outfield did the rest.
Yeah, I suppose in T20 cricket, a lot of people talk about the big hit, the big bashes, but for me, like, I just love watching pure cricket shots, and that was a pure cricket shot. He's leaned back and just stroked it through sort of, the whitish gully region and just raced away to the four. Just didn't have to hit it very hard. He just used the pace of the bowler, and fantastic shot by Guy Seymour as he moves to 13 off 5 balls.
Here comes Webber. Go get that. 6. Over the fence and into the wire fence.
Well, there you go. We firstly played I guess what you would call a textbook cricket shot, and that time he played a bit of a textbook T20 shot, hitting across the line, but he absolutely nailed it. Nice, hard and low. It's a bit of a crowd killer. Luckily enough, there's no one out there watching it today. But fantastic shot. And I think by the way it's starting to look, Newcastle really have to get Guy Seymour's wicket very, very shortly, because he looks a fantastic player and he's looking in great form today.
Seymour on strike. Remember the days of the Mercantile Mutual Cup, and you used to, hit the targets out there, and if you caught one in the crowd, you used to get, I think it was $500.
Yeah, they still do that in the Big Bash, I believe.
Still do that?
They have they will add a D grade or Z grade celebrity to stand out in the crowd and try and catch a ball. I haven't seen it happen yet, but
inside edge, and goes all the way to the 4. Well, just nicked the back of the bat, and off it went. And St George, well, they're on fire in the opening 5 overs of this one. The score now goes out to 38.
Yeah, the run rate's down to 6.74. It's been a good little knock here from Seymour.
Straight to the fielder.
Just really need some dot balls here, Newcastle, and even a few wickets just to create a bit of pressure for St George, because at the moment they're coasting.
It's the end of the over. 1 for 38. Of course, they're playing on their home ground, St George. It hasn't had a lot of memories for St George, this ground, since 1920. Nearly 100 years of tradition here in local cricket in this area, and the field is absolutely looking a picture. There's a few old photos of this ground in the memorabilia section of the pavilion behind us, and just looking at a photograph back in 1941. They got a crowd in here of 15,000 people for a local ground, and so just tells you about the strength of cricket back then, and everybody, as they still do now, just loves their cricket, as we see now. Dries coming into the attack, full toss, wicket keeper. It's gone straight through him, and it's gone all the way.
Yeah, he's ruled a wide too, so it's a double hit for Newcastle. It's 5 runs, and after to re-bowl that, so it's disappointing start for Mark Dries. He certainly didn't need that start. So you get on the replay, just didn't make it easy for wicketkeeper Ben Balcombe. He's keeping over the stumps and gets a wide full toss to catch first up. Right through the gloves and through to 4 wides.
Cabe on strike. Over the top, whips it away. Heading down into the shadows and all the way into the fence for 4. Well, they are in blistering form with the bat. And McCabe now goes to 11. And the scoreline goes to 1 for 47.
Yeah, McCabe hasn't had much strike for the last few overs with Seymour heavily in the runs, but McCabe, he looks a good bat too, and if he can stay there with Seymour, it's going to be a short day for Newcastle, because this run rate is coming down all the time, now down to 6.38.
McCabe. Goes down the ground, looking for 6, and he's got it! Straight down over the top, crashed into the Velodrome track again. And another 6 points. Well, St. George, 1 for 6 runs. 53, how about this? 53 runs on the board. And it's a runs-a-thon.
Yeah, one for 53 now, St. George. They are looking definitely on top here. Newcastle desperately need a wicket to break up this partnership of 42 between McCabe and Seymour. Two left-handers are having a field day here at Hurstville.
Oh, just on the back of the bat again. And they scurry through for 1. It takes the score to loss of 1 wicket for 54. Diving away to his right. Just the one, so that's the end of that over. 1 for 55.
Yeah, an important time in the match for Newcastle and for their captain, Mark Littlewood. He's got to really think about his bowlers here and find someone who's going to break up this partnership, because a few more overs of this and the game will be gone. So by the look of it, he's going back to his off spinner in Nick Foster, hoping that maybe they'll try and attempt to hit him over the fence for a 6 and miss time one and sky down to a fielder on the fence. So probably a bit of a gamble, I'd say, at this point in the match, when the way these boys are hitting them, and you'd back them to hit a few more 6s off the off spinner. But if they miss time one, it could be wicket time. So it's a gamble that Mark Littlewood thought he had to take, and we'll find out quickly if it's going to pay off.
So Nick Foster, Stockton, Raymond Terrace into the bowling attack. Straight down the ground.
Yeah, interesting with his field set too. He's brought everyone up on the offside, so he's actually inviting him to try and have a crack at hitting him over the fence through mid-off or cover. So he's only got one. He's got 2 on the fence, one at sort of a deep square leg and one at a deep mid-on. So plenty of room for McCabe if he wants to take his chance. Oh, and he swept that beautifully through backward square leg. There's no one down there. And unfortunately for Newcastle, Nick Foster, he just drifted that into the pads and made it too easy for McCabe, who's looking in good touch as well. He's on 22 now from 14.
Partnership of 49 between these two, McCabe and Seymour. Cracking shot. Rolling down the hill, could go for 4. It is.
Yeah, another great shot. That time he's leaned back and late cut through the gully region. These two left-handers are very impressive today. They've good mixture of attacking T20 cricket as well as just good quality cricket shots. They've really timed their innings well. They haven't played too many rash shots from memory. It's just all been clinical placement.
Sweeps, could be close if it hit the pad. No, says our umpire.
A little bit
The
optimistic,
umpire.
I'd say, that appeal from Newcastle.
Is it on the replay? They went up. They're consistent in their shouting.
He was going down leg side.
They pick up 1. Partnership now goes to 54. Score goes to 65. 7 extras in the innings so far for St. George. McCabe goes to 27. Seymour on strike on 25. That's the end of the over. St. George 1 for 65. approach 20 to 6 local time here in Sydney, and of course we've got viewers from right across the globe tuning into the coverage. We've got Mitch Edwards' auntie, actually, Auntie Jackie. She's listening in from Port Lincoln. Auntie Jackie, looking at her nephew going around here, and Roger and Jenny from England, and Rory from Mauritius. So the coverage going global, and you're listening to Josh Leeson's critique and views and opinions on this match as well, and you'll be able to read about it in the written form. Tomorrow's Newcastle Herald. And good read. Been reading it for many a year. Actually, a few of my family members actually were the printers back in the day of the Newcastle Herald, when they used to print the newspaper in it, in there before it went up to Beresfield and that. Where does it get printed these days, the Newcastle Herald?
Beresfield.
Still at Beresfield?
Bailey McGill coming in the attack now. He bowled well in the first game, so a fair bit of pressure on him this time.
Wide called. 1 for 66 now. McGill. First over. McCabe out to 27. Seymour just 2 behind him on 25.
He's taken off the fluoro shoes from earlier.
Maybe.
Why don't he bat in them?
Yeah.
Another wide by McGill. They certainly don't need this. They really need to cut down on these extras.
But you made an interesting point about those yellow boots earlier on. You know, you were saying, is it legit that you can go around, because there's a little bit, you know, bit of obstruction and all that sort of stuff, you know. And maybe, you know, somebody told him to get them off.
I'm not sure. Maybe in T20 cricket you can actually wear them. I'm not sure. I know certainly in two-day cricket where you wear whites, you certainly wouldn't be able to wear fluoro boots. But T20 rules may be different.
That'll go all the way. Nice shot.
Just hasn't got his line right here, Bailey McGill. He's bowled 2 wides and now another one down leg side, and it's been hit for 4. And yeah, they really need some accurate bowling right now, and really need some wickets, because yeah, this run rate is really coming down now. It's below 6, down to 5.42. St George 1 for 72. They've got plenty of wickets in hand. If they don't get some wickets soon, Newcastle, I'd say this game will be over quite shortly, because these pair are looking very solid for St George.
Maybe just in time for the 6 o'clock news. Here's McGill coming into Seymour. Into the gap, they'll get 1. Going away there is Littlewood to field it. Stay with me. Not long to go now, everybody. 2020 cricket. How good is this, Josh?
It's tiring, isn't it?
Can be. You're standing on your feet for 8 hours.
Bill Laurie and Ian Chappell and those Mark Taylor, they all get a break. We're going on.
We're going. Yeah. And of course, you know, just touching that on cricket commentary, I mean, years ago, it used to be only 2 commentators in the box. Now they've extended it to 3. UK haven't followed through with that yet, but Channel 9, they've invented the 3 rotational system, and it's working quite well for them. So you never know what Bar TV might do next. Where will we go with our commentary? If you'd like to apply for a position, get in touch. Cricket commentary, if you ever want to have a go.
I think we need a sideline eye, someone right down the sideline, in the thick of it.
Helicopter upstairs with the wide, yeah, it's all happening. But yeah, I mean, just on that, big sports ahead next year in 2014. So if you'd like to, especially in and around Newcastle, be involved on the commentary side, get in touch with Bar TV Sports. Love your rugby league, your rugby, you know, your soccer, your cricket, Bar TV has got it covered. If you'd like to relive any of the action across the entire season of 2014, just log on to YouTube and follow the path to Bar TV. Of course, the most watched fixture on Bar TV this year was just a few weeks ago, the NRC between Greater Sydney Rams and Brisbane City. Pulled in close to 5,000 hits. One for 76. Of course, Bar TV bringing you, the listeners and the viewers at home, the coverage through modern day technology, which just didn't exist 5-6 years ago, to be able to pretty much telecast from anywhere around the globe and beam it back through fibre cables back into your lounge room or back into your office place.
Yeah, well, as I was saying in the first game, I think it's just been a fantastic innovation for local sport in the Hunter region. The fact that you can get your Newcastle Rugby League, your Newcastle District Cricket, your rugby, your AFL, your soccer, whatever it is, the fact that these sports, in the past, the only coverage they got was a little snippet on NBN or a story in the Herald, but now it's you can watch the whole game wherever you are in the world, and it's not just your NRLs and your national cricket that gets coverage anymore. You can watch your grassroots sport, which to a lot of people, this is what they love about sport. They love coming here and watching people they know and people they grew up with play and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a fantastic innovation. And
that's the thing. I mean, these days there's online radio and that, but a lot of the time, if you're tuning into England or another foreign country, sometimes you're barred from listening to local programming. But with YouTube and Bar TV, doesn't matter where you are, just like our viewers over there in Mauritius, Rory, and in England, Roger and Jenny, and up in Port Lincoln, Jackie, all clicking on and watching their family and friends here in the game of cricket. Sweeping, this could be close. Yes, he's given him LBW.
McCabe gone for 29 off 21 balls. That's a big wicket for Newcastle, because partnership was 65 between the two left-handers, and if it kept carrying on, this game was going to be over soon. But this gives Newcastle a little bit of ray of hope they can possibly come back. Watch here on the replay, Nick Foster.
Plum right in front, no hesitation from the umpire.
Well, he's attempted to sweep it down the leg side, which gives you the impression that maybe he thought it was going down leg, but pretty hard to tell from here if it's straightened down the line enough. But certainly it was did hit him far enough back, and a good bit of bowling by Nick Foster. He changed the pace, he skidded that one through a little bit, and got a vital wicket for Newcastle.
So McCabe goes for 29 off 22, and Kazalling now goes on to the crease in 2. So he'll now partner Seymour, who is still on 31 runs. So St George, loss of 2 wickets for 76. This is the 8th over. Earlier today, if you just caught up with the news, if you haven't caught up with the news, Newcastle were able to defeat Gordon. But so far, St George, the class of the red and white, just nudging out the visitors. But the partnership, which was very instrumental in them getting points, has been broken. So stay with us.
Of course, sorry, Pete, the batsman coming out now, Stephen Coslino. He's actually played a fair bit of first-class cricket, 13 first-class games for Tasmania. Now here in New South Wales. So I think he's also played a bit of cricket for the Sydney Thunder. So yeah, I can't say I've seen a great deal of him, but yeah, fair player, obviously, to play that level. So this could be danger times for Newcastle. They don't get him early.
Foster into his 3rd over. Here he comes now, Northern End. Find the gap. Sent Seymour hustling back. Find the bails. Still 2 for 76. Foster moving in. Charging down the pitch. No, couldn't quite clear the man. Another dot ball. Good over here from Foster. From Stockton Raymond Terrace back in Newcastle. For our local viewers listening and tuning in through the Newcastle Herald website. It's Foster and Jeff Ganninan from Stockton.
Well bowled there by Nick Foster. He had to check his shot a bit there, Coslino.
The required run rate, Josh, it's dropping around just over 5 now.
Yeah, 5.83. Yeah, so it's down from I think 7 initially. So yeah, St George still in well in command here at 2 for 77, especially with Seymour at the crease. Because I know Ganninan scored a handy knock this morning and this afternoon, but I really think that Seymour's been the best bat I've seen today. Just his timing at the crease and his ability to play some beautiful cricket strokes too. He's been in fine form. So
yeah, I agree with you on that. Fine form, one to watch, definitely.
But anyway, Mark Littlewood's brought himself on now from the southern end, so Splinter will be after a wicket here. I think he went wicketless in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few options left for Newcastle. There's still Dries has some overs. Webber has some overs left as well.
So here he comes, Littlewood. Southern end. Back down the ground, into the gap. Coming back for 2. May come back for a 3rd. Here they do. Throw's good, but the run's just as good. They come home and they've been able to make 3.
Yeah, good running by Seymour, and Coslino was didn't really even hit that very hard then. Coslino, he just sort of leant on the ball and bunted it down to the long on boundary, but just very quick outfield. I was down there this morning before the first game started, and just yeah, beautiful carpet, very soft, very fast, and yeah, great place to play cricket.
Littlewood just giving his fielders a few simple instructions. They've taken notice. Seymour faces him. Slower ball into the gap. Come through for 1. So Seymour goes to 32. Lino 4 from 5. St George 2 for 81. Here at Hurstville Oval. Hashtag Bar TV Sports. Or get in touch with Josh Leeson on Twitter. Slow ball again. Deflected down. They come through for the single. So 146 is the target. Don't forget the final on the 2nd of November at the SCG. So a great way to finish this competition at the home of New South Wales cricket. Slower ball. No run. May now pick up 1. They do. 2 for 84. In the 9th over. So as far as the competition goes, Josh, 1 win. Where does this sit Newcastle?
Well, there's another 2. There's another 2 games to go next week. So it's only 4-round comp. And then you have finals. So I'm guessing they're going to need at least 3 wins to get through. The top 4 from each conference go through. Obviously 12 in each conference. So I think 3 wins will get them home. Obviously, this game's still very much alive, but at this point you'd favour St George, but Newcastle could get through, I think, with 3 wins. But it would, of course, mean winning both games next week. As Seymour goes over the top, they'll come back for 2. St George, well run again.
Foster with the throw. .37 wide run rate. Littlewood coming in to Seymour. So ball into the gap. Come through for one. Another run to the home side. Got the advantage playing on their home ground, St. George. It's the end of the over. It's 2 for 88. So 147. Just getting a bit of clarification on the main scoreboard. It's 1 run less. So 147 to win. And then we can pack the equipment up and head back up the freeway. Of course, Bar TV operating out of Newcastle, televising Newcastle here today through Newcastle Herald and via Bar TV on YouTube. Seymour. Strike 36 from 20. 10th over of the innings. Knocks it back to the bowler.
Well, bye by Foster. He gave a little bit of air that time, and he's just trying to tempt Seymour to have a bit of a go here and maybe bunt it down to one of the men at mid-off or mid-on, as well as deep square leg.
Got him! Straight through him.
Yeah, beautiful ball there. He sort of changed his flight again, a little bit flatter that time, and yeah, he snuck it through Seymour. Seymour was looking so good, but he's now gone for 36 off 22 balls. St. George 3 for 88. And we'll take a look here at the replay. Foster, and just there, he just probably played the wrong shot. He's tried to play around the ball and take it down the leg side there, flick it off down to fine leg, and he's just missed it completely and crashed into middle stump, and that's a big wicket for Newcastle because way guy Seymour was playing, he was going to be a massive danger man in these later overs, but with him out, it opens the door for Newcastle to potentially make a game of this yet. But Trent Copeland, the former Test player, is coming out to the middle, the captain of St. George. Normally bats a lot further down the order in Shield cricket, but today batting at 5 for St. George.
Just having a chat out there in the middle. Casualino and Copeland. Casualino on 4 from 6. Foster.
I was just read an email too I got before that from New South Wales Cricket saying that Trent Copeland will actually be the New South Wales second 11 captain tomorrow in their game against the Victorian second 11. So
very good.
So a little bit of a warm up here today for Copeland before he moves on to bigger games tomorrow.
That's what you like to see. Players being recognised for their efforts in cricket. Straight to Sam Webber there from Hamilton Wickham for Newcastle. It's getting a bit on the breezy side. It's getting a bit on the chilly side. It's dropped considerably, the temperature in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the wind's changed too. It's coming more from sort of the south.
So that's one more ball in this over. We started the day for our viewers who have just tuned in late to the coverage of around 32, 33 degrees. With that southerly now dropping, makes life very comfortable for the players out in the middle, and for everybody watching, of course, as well. It's been a big day of cricket right here on Bar TV. We started the coverage at 12:15, and it's now 6 o'clock. Big day. An interesting day and a great spectacle for 2020. Hope you've enjoyed the cricket. That is for sure. And the coverage that Bar TV has been able to do here today. As we see now, Littlewood just putting the call out to his fielders to just edge back closer to the boundary, because we know the unleashing power of Copeland. He knows how to smack it out of the park. This time, just along the carpet. They take the one.
Yeah, so two former Sheffield Shield players at the crease now for St George. In Caslina, who played a lot of cricket with Tasmania. And Copeland, of course, who has played a ton of games for New South Wales Blues, as well as 3 tests for Australia against Sri Lanka in 2011. So great for New South Wales, Newcastle cricket to be playing the likes of these two players.
Beats the bowler. I'll take one. Cut off there by Nick Foster in 8. In there. Blue strip. Splash of red and white down the side. In the air. Into the gap. 4 runs for St George. Placement perfect there, Josh.
Yeah, it was uppishly played from Copeland, but didn't matter because there was no fielder there. Raced away for 4 runs. Takes St George 3 for 95 off 10.3 overs. Run rate now down to 5.47.
Littlewood continuing. Wide called. Copeland on strike.
Just tried to bowl a bit of a slow ball there, Mark Littlewood, and didn't quite get the line right. Dribbled down leg side. Of course, any balls that go down leg side are called a wide in T20 cricket.
Copeland pushing it down to Mark Dries. They come through for a single. 3 for 97 now on their home soil, St George. Littlewood comes up the hill. Straight back to him, well fielded. Partnership of 9 between these two. Littlewood into his second over. To knock off 18 points they have, St George, against his bowling. Into the gap. And everybody will be knocking off shortly. We'll all be packing up. Still got a few more runs and overs to go though. But it's up to Newcastle to somehow get that breakthrough as the sun sets here in Hurstville shortly. Daylight saving, of course, now. Gives us that extra hour. Are you a fan of daylight saving, Josh, or you prefer to have that extra sleep in the morning?
Oh, yes and no. I can actually go home occasionally at work when it's still light. But one thing I don't like about it actually is the fact that like to start and watch the English Premier League, and of
Mm.
course when daylight savings starts, pushes all the games back an extra hour, so it makes it even harder to stay up to all hours watching. So that'd be my one beef with it. Other than that,
It's
all
okay.
good.
It's all good.
Yeah, my curtains are okay, so they don't tend to fade with the extra light as they do in Queensland supposedly.
Oh, you got blockouts?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, comes in handy. When you want that, when you want that extra sleep in the morning. Here comes Darwin.
Yeah, Pat Darwin, he actually was a predominantly an off spinner back when he played under 19s for Australia, and sort of reinvented himself more as a batsman these days. But he doesn't bowl too much, but he's been handed the ball here and he's got a job to do. Obviously, they've decided that maybe the slower bowls are having a bit more success on this wicket. Maybe it's starting to break up and get a bit slower as the day progresses. And Littlewood's handed him the ball, but certainly need some wickets here, because I don't think they're going to restrict St George to 146 on this pitch. The way they're scoring, they really need to get some wickets because it's the best way to bring down the run rate.
Coming back for 2. Needs to be a good throw. It is a good throw. Close, but no cigar. Been able to get across the line there.
Yeah, the throw probably was just a little bit wide. Balcom had to sort of reach to bring it down. If it had been right over the stumps, it might have been a chance of getting the run out. But yeah, Caslino was just too quick getting back for his now 10 off 13 balls.
Oh, reverse swing. Oh, this could have...
Geez, that had to be close.
Yeah. I was going to say, may have went against him.
Yeah, the old reverse sweep.
Trying to show, well, yeah, good skills to have that reverse sweep.
Yeah, he's probably practiced that a few times in the mirror, but hasn't worked out here on the cricket field.
See what he's got this time. Takes the ball on. Push through for 1. So St George, they've cracked the 100 barrier. They're up to 3 for 103 here on the official scoreboard and on the Bar TV scoreboard, which is just a few seconds out from the official scoreboard. Not quite synced as we can get it. But yeah, that's the end of that over. It's 3 for 103.
Sam Webber now coming on at the southern end. He's only bowled 1 over in this game so far, went for 15 runs, so he certainly can't go for that again. But he's a bit of a game breaker, Sam. He's been the leading wicket taker in Newcastle cricket for several years, so he's probably used a little bit down on his old pace due to a back injury he sustained while playing cricket in England the winter before our last. But he's still pretty wily, still very accurate, and can do a little bit with the ball. So with 8 overs to go and only 44 runs left for St George to win this game, I think Sam Webber really needs to take a few wickets here and maybe crack this game open. It's going to be a very important over for Newcastle.
Straight back to him. Leno 11. Copeland moves to 7. 5.6 the required run rate. 147 for victory. Oh, it could be a run out here if they throw. No, they got back in the nick of time. Leno and Copeland. Partnership now moves to 15. Webber into his second over. Come through for 1. Score goes out to 3 for 104. Copeland now on strike.
Just fielded out there by Greg Hunt from Newcastle, who's a former St George player. Was playing for St George in last year's T20 comp, actually.
Slower ball, can he get it? He does, the bowler, but just couldn't put ball into hand to have a clear strike at the wickets. So Copeland now on strike. Well, he was on strike on 7, giving it over to Casalino on 12 runs. 12 from 18. The 2020 Cup. Bar TV. Here comes Webber. Ball toss. Down the ground. Mark Dries. Cuts it off. Good throw back to the wicket keeper in Ben Balcombe. So that is the end of that over. St George now 3 for 108.
Pat Darwin coming on now for his second over of off spin. He'll enjoy bowling to the left-hander, but yeah, as we said before, desperately need a wicket here, Newcastle, because this game is drifting away at a rapid rate.
Merriweather. Man. It's a fair few from the Merriweather club going around here today. 1 or 2. Mark Cameron, of course. Coming from Merriweather. Stockton represented by 2 as well. Cuts. Can't quite beat the man. 3 for 107. Copeland on strike, still on 7. Second over for Darwin. First sweep. Nice. That's 4. Beautifully played. Confidence in his ability. Reverse sweep. 4 runs.
So what's happening out here? Trent Copeland's supposedly a bowler and he's doing like reverse sweeps.
He's the entertainer of 2020.
But yeah, we saw last day, we saw Casalino trying to attempt a reverse sweep unsuccessfully and nearly get out LBW, but Trent Copeland, he's just done that textbook. If I'm not sure if it's in the textbook, reverse sweeps, but if it were, great shot. But
might be in the textbook after that effort there.
Nice little late cut there too from a ball that skidded through. He's now I don't have the stats right in front of you, but from memory, I think he has a Test 50 to his name, Trent Copeland. He's actually quite an accomplished batsman. Yeah, he's certainly shown that today with some nice strokes.
Leno facing. Darwin. Into the gap. That could be 4. The man's coming across to cover it off. He did well before it reached the rope. They come back for 2.
He played that a little bit uppishly there through the covers, but well away from the fielder there. But it wasn't a bad ball from Darwin. He got the uppish stroke played, but again, no luck there for Newcastle.
Other attempt of reverse sweep. This time
he had a little think about it, and then he just went for an old regulation little paddle around the corner.
And picked up 1 for his paddling efforts. So it's 3 for 115 here on the Bar Cricket scoreboard. That's the end of round, well, over 14. Yep, over 14. Coming into the 15th. So St George. 3 for 115. So we go to our multi-view angle here, which nice touch to the 2020 Cup. Don't forget the final played on the 2nd of November at the SCG. I'll come through for 1. Copeland now on strike. 12 runs for his efforts this afternoon. 3 for 160. Another single. Copeland goes to 13.
At the moment, that's all St George need are singles, with the run rate at 5.29. So just coasting along, not really taking any real risks, and they don't really need to, which is the beauty of how they batted earlier.
Partnership of 30 now on the board between these two.
Yeah, I think Newcastle need to have a look at their field here, because at the moment they're just leaking runs too easily. There's too many easy singles out there. They really need to. I think the game's starting to get away, and if they want St George to try and go over the top, maybe bring the field in a little bit.
Copeland. Ball going down the hill. Will it go all the way? It does. 4 runs for St George. Copeland. Nice work with the bat.
Just used the pace of Webber then and just steered it down to our third man through the gully. Just opened the face of the bat. Yeah, just a lovely little shot. Takes him along to 19 off 24. St George 3 for 122.
122. The loss of 3. Another reverse.
Oh.
It's got a bit of height. This might go all the way for 4. Well, talk about sweeping the opposite way. This time it had a little bit of height, but boy, doesn't matter in the end.
Well,
4 points, 4 runs.
There's actually a bit of a paddle there, Pete.
Paddle. Paddle.
Just, yeah, they scooped it over the top, over the fine leg. They do, or the ramp shot as they call it these days in T20 cricket.
Ram shot.
Ram shot. But,
Ram shot. Write that one down. Talking of coverage from across the globe, here's another one on the text. Loving the coverage from Sweden. Josh Leeson, sounding great. Sending a shout out to all of us watching in Europe. Keep up the banter, mate. Both of you are the next Roy and HGs. Well, I didn't know we were that funny, were we?
Who's this from?
Oh, that's one of the producers who's gone for a holiday. Now, 3 for 127. Of course, Brendan back over there for the summer. His summer. Well, his winter, our summer. He'll be back on deck in a few weeks.
What, we're going on a skiing trip or something, has he?
Well, one of many things that he does over there in his off time. Skiing is just one of them.
Wow.
His fiance's there too.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Wasn't even sure what you were implying there. But anyway, Brendan, hope you're having a nice time in Sweden, mate.
Riding the mountains. Brendan. A lot of snow coverage over there this time of the year.
Working on a story actually at the moment, the Herald, about floorball.
Oh, he might be able to help you.
Which is quite big in Sweden.
Oh, what is floorball?
It's sort of like ice hockey, but they play without ice and skates on the, like on a court. But yeah.
Charging down the ground. This could be out. Easy catch. Well, Copeland on his way back to the pavilion. 22 for his efforts.
Mark Cameron enjoyed that one. Gave a little bit of a clap and a little bit of a sing out. I'm not sure there's a little bit of talk out there between him and Copeland, but anyway, he enjoyed that one. And that's maybe opened up a little chance for Newcastle to still win this game. The run rate is down to 4 now, which you'd back most teams to go. But look on the replay, pretty easy catch. Good bit of bowling by Cameron. He sort of squared up Copeland and took away any space for him, probably beat him a little bit with the pace and cramped him up, and he's bunted it to mid-on for an easy catch for Joe's Price. And St George are now 4 for 127.
It's funny, like when you say the score, you know, in the old they'd play the ad breaks. You feel like throwing to the few ad breaks, but of course the sponsors are our ad breaks here on Bar TV, and we couldn't do them without these, Josh. The Commonwealth Bank of Australia, major sponsor for Newcastle cricket. Kingsgrove Sport, Forsyths, the recruitment agency. Haven't heard from them in years. And Modcoms and Kookaburra. So all of those four, we couldn't do it without their support for cricket. Not just here in the state of New South Wales, but right across Australia. Caslino on strike. Pushes into the gap. They come through for one.
Tell you what, the seamless way you put those sponsors into the telecast there, Pete. I'm dead set you could be the next Ray Hadley or Alan Jones.
Nice and smooth, you think? Oh, you're so kind, Josh. Hey? So kind.
Even Lawsy can't do it that well.
Do you want to have a go? Josh will be back next year.
But we can't do cash for comments at Fairfax, I'm afraid. Not part of our charter.
Oh, but we can do it here on Bar TV. So major spending. Get involved with the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. There you go. And Forsyths and, of course, Kookaburra. As we're down inside the last few overs here. 147 is the target. Casalino on strike. May's out there. It's all Casalino about to face. Smacks it away.
No, it's going to fall short. I think he beat him a little bit for pace there, Cameron, and Casalino went for the hook shot. Didn't get it out of the middle, but it still went one bounce to, I think that's Bailey there at the square leg boundary.
As we see now, May on strike.
Short ball there by Cameron, but fended away by May. To be backing away a little bit there, so not sure if he was trying to open the arms to punch that maybe over the top of point. So yeah, I think Scud's got his back up here. He knows the game is on the line. He probably needs to get a few wickets, and he's bowling the quickest I've seen him bowl today. Little French cut down there. Lucky break for May. It was a good ball by Cameron. He speared in at the base of the leg stump, but gets it away for a single for St George. They move to 4 for 131. And with 16 overs gone, run rate is now down to 4. So 16 runs required for victory for the St George side.
So Webber to start his 4th over. Bowling to May. As the breeze turns into a gust. Not too far away from being a tornado. It is blowing a gale here in Hurstville. May just sees it go through to the keeper.
Might be quite hard for the batsmen at the moment because those shadows have really gone all the way across the pitch, so there's a little bit of light sort of probably on a good length actually still poking its way through. So when the ball lands in that light or in the shadow, it makes it hard for the batsman to pick it up. So
Coming back, are they? Yes, they're going to back their ability. The throw's wide anyway, and they come through for 2. So May goes to 4, and he'll retain the strike. Small partnership of 6. As you'd expect, they've only been out there for minutes. To the wicketkeeper it goes. So we're smack bang on 4 runs and over. Probably would not even come into the equation here. Target is 147 for victory. Dot ball.
Certainly need that at this stage, Newcastle, even though probably victory is probably slipping away. But if they can at least make it harder for St George, you never know. Cricket is quite a pressured game, but the pressure can build on the batsmen, and they might crack.
Swing and a miss there from May.
Yeah, well, May's he's been out there now for 8 deliveries for 4 runs. He hasn't looked as fluid as the other St George batsmen, so I think if they can probably keep him on strike for a little bit longer and tie up an end, get that run rate back over 6. At the moment, it's 4.42.
So 14 runs for victory. The dot ball.
Got over there by Sam Webber. His 4 overs have gone for 31 runs.
And it's 4 for 133. And this is, of course, the summer of cricket, with plenty of action right throughout the entire season of cricket, AFL, you name it, rugby union, rugby league. So log on to Bar TV Sports via our YouTube page and click on highlights, full match replays of pretty much anything that has come out of Newcastle sport. And of course, most recently, the NRC featuring the Greater Sydney Rams.
Cameron coming on now for his 4th and final over. He'll be bowling full pelt, I'd say, in this spell to try and get a couple of badly needed wickets for the Newcastle side.
Pick up one. Had a bit of a smirk on his face too. Cameron, as he came in to deliver the ball there to Casualino. Here he comes again from the northern end, the mascot end of the field. We'll feel it. Another dot ball. 17th over. Target 147 for victory. Newcastle defeated Gordon earlier in the day. Well timed, sneaky, brilliant cricket.
Very good shot. Yeah, Cameron's tried to bounce him, and all he's done is just use the pace of the ball, just helped it on its way over the top of the slip cordon, straight, maybe a couple of bounces into the fence, and yeah, it's taken a lot of pressure off St George. They a few little dot balls there, and had got the run rate going up again, but now it's back under 4 at 3.6. You'd say St George are home by now. A little single there by May, just tucking it away on the leg side. So he moves to 8 now off 11 balls. Sorry, 9 off 12 balls.
For 7 for victory. Charges. .22. Casalino from 28 deliveries. Partnership of 12. We've had 15 extras over the last 18 overs. But here comes Cameron. single. Plenty of singles. We've had an array of shots today. We've seen plenty of sixes, plenty of fours, and plenty of singles.
It's been a great day's cricket. There's been some really attractive cricket played. I was really impressed by the hitting of Jeff Gninnan in both games, and I thought Guy Seymour for the St George side was playing some beautiful cricket shots, lovely cuts, drives, pull shots, and there's been some good bowling at times too. I was really impressed with Gordon's leg spinner Josh Poyston today. He bowled well with a lot of control. So I think Newcastle, by the look of it, are going to go down in this game with only 7 runs left for St George to chase with 2 overs to do it. But I think they can walk away pretty proud of their efforts today. They played well to win their first game against Gordon, and they've certainly been very highly competitive in a game against what is a pretty strong St George outfit.
Never easy backing up after playing, your first 2020, then 15 minutes later coming back out in a double header as well. So all of those factors need to be considered. Casalino on strike. And through for 1. 4 for 141. 6 runs away. St George on their home soil here. And of course, they've been at this ground since 1921. Another single. Five away. 19th over.
It's been interesting how they've gone about it, St George. They haven't really hit that many boundaries. It's more just picking up the singles, the twos. They haven't really taken many risks this whole game, really. While Newcastle, they probably did try and hit too many fours and probably didn't work enough singles and twos, which I think in the wash-up of this game, I think that'd be something that the Newcastle camp would be looking at, maybe how to sort of bat maybe a little bit more intelligently at times, and maybe not rely on having to hit too many fours and sixes, and instead try and preserve your wickets and maybe knock around a couple of more singles and twos and threes and minimise their risk a little bit, because I think St George have showed that you can do that and you can win games.
Well, there's a direct hit there. But Casalino got back in time. Call went up from Newcastle. The umpire said nope. He got back there. Wouldn't have been much in it, because Casalino looked like he was coming down the pitch, had to turn and go back. He just got the bat over the white line. So here comes Darwin in his 3rd over. Nice strike. That will beat them all. That will go all the way for 4, will it? No, he's cut it off. Fantastic effort by the man in the deep.
There's Mark Drysdale there. Yeah, some great bit of fielding. He struck that nicely off the bat, Casalino, but it seemed to slow up, but they kept it just to 2. And St George now only 3 runs from victory with 1 over to spare. So, well, you wouldn't rule out Newcastle entirely here. I mean, I've seen stranger things have happened in cricket, but Mark Littlewood, the captain of Newcastle, is going to bowl the final over. Oh, no, sorry, he's giving the ball to Joseph Price, will bowl the final over. Yeah, big bit of a gamble here, because Price hasn't bowled an over yet in this actual game. He bowled a few in the Gordon game, and he's handing him the ball in the final over of the game. But
So May's on strike. The field's in. Oh. And that's all the way. That's the ball game.
Yeah, a little bit anticlimactic in the end with
I was expecting a 6 or something.
Wide to finish off, but yeah, that's cricket sometimes. And yeah, well-deserved victory for St George. 6-wicket win with 6 balls to spare in the end. So it was pretty comprehensive. They pretty cruised that sort of last probably 5 to 8 overs. So I think that start, or the partnership between Seymour Seymour and Beverley, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, they were.
Beverley,
oh, Crawford, sorry.
Crawford.
Tim Crawford and
having a few microphone difficulties at the moment. Oh, yep, we're back now. 1, 2, 3, we're back. But that is the end of the match. And Josh, thanks for your support throughout the entire day. It's been, well, good games of cricket. Unfortunately, Newcastle couldn't quite get the result in the final match, going down to St George. But they haven't come away empty-handed at all. They've been able to defeat Gordon in the first match. So they've been able to take something away. And of course, you know, their management staff, their management team, as you mentioned, they'll be happy with their performances here this afternoon. Well, Josh, back up to Newcastle you go. How are you getting home?
Not sure, mate. I might have to try and
Get a
hitchhike.
lift.
I'll be pleading my case with somebody after the game, but yeah, a good day's cricket for both games. And I think Newcastle will. I think they'll be disappointed they didn't win this game, but overall, I think they'll be happy to take away one victory from these two, and a little bit to work on maybe next week when they roll around and play another double header. So, but yeah, thanks for having us today, Pete. It was a pleasure.
No worries. Anytime. We might even see you again before Christmas, Josh. There's a few more clashes coming up in the 2020. And, of course, stay tuned to Twitter and Facebook. And Bar TV will let all our cricketing fans know which clashes are coming up next on Bar TV. Well, it's been an interesting day here. Newcastle couldn't quite come up with victory on 2 occasions. They've come away with 1 from 2, but they'll go back to Newcastle, regroup before they head back down to the M1 again next weekend. So on behalf of everybody here at Hurstville Oval, we'll bid you farewell. And until we meet again, thanks for tuning into our coverage today. Have a good week, and we'll see you soon.